This show is part of OnePlace, a daily network of focused briefings across the stories people follow most.
Welcome to today's roundup. We are diving into the biggest headlines in entertainment and royalty, from red carpet drama to major legal updates. Let's get started with a quick look at the news.
Zendaya stuns an ashy studio at the Euphoria premiere.
Rumors swirl as Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney keep distance.
Jenna Ortega reveals she almost quit acting before You.
Matthew Perry's drug dealer receives a 15-year sentence.
Lauren Conrad and Kristen Cavallari face awkward Spencer questions.
Prince Andrew allegedly bullied the Queen in her final years.
Paris Jackson claims estate executors are bullying her, legally.
Sydney Sweeney promotes her lingerie line with cowgirl style.
Starting with the premiere. The long-awaited Euphoria Season 3 premiere finally happened last night, and the fashion was just as dramatic as the behind-the-scenes gossip. Zendaya arrived in a striking black halter gown by Ashy Studio, which was a bit of a surprise since she usually sports custom Louis Vuitton. Some are speculating that LV might be distancing itself from the show's increasingly messy reputation. The gown featured a very narrow bust line that looked a bit precarious, even for someone as poised as Zendaya. Meanwhile, Sydney Sweeney opted for an archival 2007 Pierre Cardin piece that featured a short skirt and a built-in cape. It was a bold choice, but critics are saying the proportions were a bit off, giving her a somewhat top-heavy appearance that didn't quite hit the mark for such a high-profile event.
It really feels like the end of an era for this cast. Hunter Schafer also made an appearance in Acne Studios, which had a very vintage Versace vibe to it. But beyond the clothes, there is a heavy sense that this is the final curtain call. Most of the lead actors, including Jacob Elordi and Zendaya herself, have become massive stars in their own right, and seem ready to move on from the chaos surrounding creator Sam Levinson. There have been numerous reports of falling out between the cast and the production team, and it is widely acknowledged that Season 3 should probably be the last. These actors are likely fulfilling their final contractual obligations before closing this chapter of their careers for good. It is a bittersweet moment for fans who have followed the show's intense journey.
Moving to The Rift. The premiere also highlighted what many believe is a deep freeze between Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney. The two stars were notably seen at opposite ends of the red carpet, fueling rumors that they are no longer on speaking terms. Zendaya posed alone, looking every bit the Hollywood darling, while her tattoo tribute to Tom Holland was visible on her side. Reports suggest that the tension stems from political differences, specifically Zendaya distancing herself from Sweeney due to Sweeney's perceived support for Donald Trump. While Zendaya did stay to watch the first few episodes of the new season at the TCL Chinese Theater, she didn't seem to interact with her castmates during the entry. It was a stark contrast to the usual camaraderie we see at these big ensemble events, making the atmosphere feel quite tense for onlookers.
On the other side of the carpet, Sydney Sweeney was much more social, though not with Zendaya. She was seen cuddling up to co-stars Maude Apatow, Alexa Demi, and Hunter Schafer. Sweeney also made headlines for her very public display of affection with her boyfriend, music producer Scooter Braun. The two were seen kissing inside the auditorium, making it very clear where her focus was for the evening. This public pairing with Braun is a relatively new development, since her split from her former fiancé, Jonathan Davino. The fact that Zendaya and Sweeney avoided each other so pointedly suggests that the rumors of a rift are more than just tabloid speculation. It adds a layer of real-world drama to a show that is already famous for its on-screen intensity, leaving fans wondering how this dynamic affected the filming of the final season.
Next up, Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega recently opened up about a pivotal moment in her career that almost led her to quit acting entirely. Speaking on Kid Cudi's podcast, she revealed that after finishing her run on the Disney Channel show Stuck in the Middle back in 2018, she felt lost. As a teenager transitioning out of child stardom, she struggled with the pressure of having to prove herself to new casting directors who didn't know her work. She admitted that she and her team had serious discussions for months about calling it quits. She was starting high school and felt like she had already had a good run. It is hard to imagine now given her massive success with Wednesday and the Scream franchise, but at the time the uncertainty of the industry was nearly enough to make her walk away from it all.
Everything changed when she landed the role of Ellie Alves in the second season of the Netflix hit You. Ortega explained that as soon as she got on that set, she rediscovered her love for the craft. and realized she couldn't let it go. That role served as the bridge between her Disney days and her current status as a Gen Z scream queen. Since then, she has become a household name, starring in Beetlejuice, and leading the supernatural comedy Wednesday, which just started production on its third season in February. It is a powerful reminder of how close some of our favorite stars come to giving up before their big break. Her story is one of resilience, showing that sometimes the right role at the right time is all it takes to change the entire trajectory of a person's life.
Now for the sentencing. In a significant legal development, Jasmine Sangha, known as the Ketamine Queen, has been sentenced to 15 years in prison for her role in the death of Matthew Perry. Sangha pleaded guilty to 5 federal charges related to the fatal overdose of the Friends star in 2000-2003. Federal prosecutors described her as a callous drug dealer who prioritized profits over human life, noting that even after learning her drugs had caused Perry's death, she continued her illegal operations. The sentencing also includes 3 years of supervised release. Perry was found unresponsive in his jacuzzi in October 2023, and the medical examiner later determined the cause of death was an accidental ketamine overdose. This sentence reflects the gravity of the situation and the devastating impact that these illegal sales have on families and the community at large.
The investigation revealed a complex web of distribution involving Sangha and several others. Prosecutors stated that Sangha worked with Eric Fleming to supply 51 vials of ketamine to Perry in the month he died. These drugs were then handed over to Perry's personal assistant, Kenneth Iwamasa, who administered the injections, including at least 3 on the day Perry passed away. While Sangha's defense team argued for a lighter sentence based on time already served and her acknowledgement of her behavior, the court ultimately sided with the prosecution's recommendation. The case has brought intense scrutiny to the way high-profile individuals access controlled substances and the legal consequences for those who facilitate it. It marks a somber conclusion to a case that shocked fans worldwide and highlights the ongoing battle against the illegal distribution of powerful synthetic drugs in Los Angeles.
Shifting to reality stars. Lauren Conrad and Kristen Cavallari had a bit of a reunion on the Today Show recently, but things took an incredibly awkward turn when the subject of Spencer Pratt came up. The hosts asked about Spencer's run for mayor of Los Angeles, and Lauren's reaction was classic LC. She coolly sidestepped the question by simply stating she isn't a resident of Los Angeles, effectively avoiding any endorsement of her former nemesis. However, Kristen didn't follow that lead. Instead, she expressed a soft spot for Spencer, calling him great and suggesting he might be onto something with his political ambitions. The camera caught Lauren looking visibly stunned by Kristen's praise, creating a moment of pure daytime TV gold. It was clear that while the two women have buried their own hatchet, their feelings towards Spencer remain worlds apart.
The tension didn't stop there. When Lauren was pressed on whether she and Spencer had finally squashed their infamous feud from the hills, her response was as non-committal as it gets. She gave a short, hesitant answer and reminded everyone that she hasn't spoken to those people in decades. It was a sharp reminder that for Lauren, that chapter of her life is firmly closed, regardless of how much the public wants a full reconciliation. Kristen's willingness to engage with the drama contrasted sharply with Lauren's desire to stay above the fray. The segment highlighted that even years later, the dynamics of that iconic reality show still have the power to create uncomfortable moments. It seems that while some friendships can be mended, the deep-seated rivalries of the past still linger just beneath the surface for these former co-stars.
Turning to the royals. New allegations have surfaced regarding Prince Andrew's behavior toward his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth, in her final years. Royal author Andrew Lowney claims in his new book that Andrew essentially bullied the Queen while she was in a vulnerable state. According to Lowney, the Queen was struggling significantly toward the end of her life, and Andrew allegedly took advantage of this to pressure her into making certain decisions. This is particularly troubling given that Andrew was often described as the Queen's favorite son. The book suggests that while King Charles was effectively running the show during those final years, Andrew's interactions with his mother were fraught with intimidation. These claims add another layer of controversy to Andrew's already tarnished reputation, especially following the loss of his royal titles and his recent legal troubles involving misconduct in public office.
The book also delves into Andrew's past connections with Jeffrey Epstein, alleging that he may have shared confidential travel documents during his time as a trade envoy. Loney suggests that the palace is desperate to keep Andrew out of court to prevent him from claiming that others were aware of his dealings. The Department of Justice recently released millions of files from Epstein's estate, which included emails between Andrew and the financier, further damaging his standing. Despite the scandals, the Queen reportedly supported her son for a long time, even after photos of him with Epstein surfaced years ago. However, the narrative of him bullying her in her final days paints a much darker picture of their relationship. It suggests a level of entitlement and desperation as he saw his status slipping away, leading to a breakdown in the family dynamic.
Next, Paris Jackson's battle. Paris Jackson is locked in a heated legal battle with the executors of her father Michael Jackson's estate. She has raised serious concerns about how John Branca and John McClane are managing the fortune, specifically questioning large payments and bonuses made to third-party law firms. In new court documents, Paris claims that the executors are using her father's money to bully and attack her simply because she is asking questions. She alleges that they are more interested in playing to the media than resolving the issues privately. Her legal team argues that the executors have filed documents that mock and belittle her, characterizing her concerns as being driven by her lawyers or a desire for attention. Paris insists this is not the case and that the ongoing litigation is deeply painful and a major distraction in her life.
On the other side, the executors are defending their record, pointing out that they turned the estate from being $500 million in debt to a business generating billions in revenue. They argue that Paris has already received $65 million in benefits and will inherit hundreds of millions more thanks to their work. Their attorney stated that every payment made by the estate has been authorized and that they have never given unauthorized gifts. They find her objections shocking given the financial success they have achieved for the heirs. However, Paris is not backing down, maintaining that her right to transparency should not be met with personal attacks. The conflict highlights the complicated nature of managing a massive celebrity estate, where the interests of the executors and the beneficiaries can often clash in very public and expensive ways.
Finally, Sydney's new line. Sydney Sweeney is making waves again, but this time it is for her new lingerie brand, CERN. She recently released a promotional video where she channels a cowgirl theme, dancing on hay barrels in white underwear, a corset top, and a cowboy hat. The campaign, titled My First Rodeo, is part of her Spring Intimates collection. Sweeney has been very vocal about her vision for the brand, stating that she wanted to create something body positive that understands women rather than talking at them. CERN offers 44 different sizes and features. 4 core styles: comfy, playful, romantic, and seductress. She serves as the sole founder and says the brand is about confidence without pressure. This business venture is a major step for her, as she expands her influence beyond acting and into the fashion and lifestyle space.
The launch of CERN comes at a busy time for Sweeney, as she balances her business with the premiere of Euphoria and her high-profile relationship with Scooter Braun. She has described the seductress line as bold and unapologetic, emphasizing that it is about how a woman feels when she puts the clothes on, rather than dressing for anyone else. This message of empowerment seems to be the core of her marketing strategy. Despite the drama surrounding her personal life and the rumored rifts with her co-stars, Sweeney appears focused on building her empire. Her transition from a breakout TV star to a business mogul is moving fast, and her ability to generate headlines for both her work and her brand shows no signs of slowing down. It will be interesting to see how CERN competes in the crowded celebrity lingerie market.
That wraps up our briefing for today. Thank you for joining us for this look at the latest stories. Be sure to follow the show for your next daily update on everything Hollywood.